Are you guys ready for the Week 14 Flawless Fantasy Football Waiver Show? I can't hear you guys. You gotta speak up. Are you ready for the Flawless Fantasy Football Week 14 Waiver Show? Say yeah! Yeah! Wave your hands in the air if you want a waiver show, if you just don't care. Something like that. What's happening, y'all? What's good? Anthony Blake Jr., Flawless Fantasy Football. Boom, boom, boom. Ready to get back into it. Week 14. I like this waiver show. I like the waiver prospects. I'm going to take a different angle. Listen, hope everybody's in a good space right now. Everybody remember the game last night? No. All right, I got to get into my little thing real quick. Before we get one, everybody saw the fumble that Breida did first quarter, and he fell, and the ball was right there, and he went to reach for it, and he pulled his hand back. Did anybody see that? Did anybody see it, or was it just me? Okay? Football is entertainment. The sooner y'all recognize that, the better. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. That's it. But yeah, hopefully you guys got W's last week. This past weekend, I'll make a video tomorrow about my teams and stuff like that. Again, I'm doing something that other fantasy YouTube content creators don't do because they don't give you an inside look at their team. They just shoot their mouth off talking about what they did or they didn't do, who they had and they didn't have. So I like that I have that niche and be able to do that. What else? But the game turned out, pretty much what I thought it was going to be, but nevertheless, everything worked out. From what I understand, I helped people make some good calls this past week. That's pretty much as usual. You wouldn't have to, unfortunately, we're in this waiver wire situation, and you can get stuff off waiver wire, but when you're down to week 14 and you got to make the playoffs or you trying to stay in the playoff picture or trying to secure a bye, because I got some people that's trying to secure buys and, right there on the cusp, ask yourself this question. What can you live with? Like if you're right on the brink, either way, can you live with benching somebody that you usually would play for a player that you're just picking up that might do better? Now, if that decision is wrong and you bench the person you usually play, can you live with that in the offseason knowing if it costed you? Or would you just be settled and be at ease with playing the person that you normally would play? That's how I am. I'm the type of person where I want to play my guy. I want to fall down with my guy. If I saying, oh man, this is a juicy matchup where he can do good, let me plug him in there. Then you get like 3 or 4 or 5 points, but the guy that I benched have 14, 15 points, and I lose by 3. That's a management blunder, So just remember that when it come down to decisions that are close. Screw all of that. Let's jump into the waivers. I'm gonna do things the same, but it's gonna be a bit different. Now you shouldn't have to need these players, ladies and gentlemen, because if you follow my rule and my guidance of players, you should have your studs. You should have your quarterback. You should have your running backs. All right. So we're just gonna go right off top. We're gonna start with quarterbacks, and I'm just gonna. It's bye week 14, right? So you got the Colts, Dolphins, Pats, and Eagles on bye. The only relevant quarterbacks that are out here that are I guess to be semi-close to every week starter, will be Wentz and Hurts. So I doubt you're starting Tua and an old boy from Patriots every week. So you shouldn't need quarterbacks. Your quarterback you should already have on your roster. But if you happen to need a quarterback, we already talked about this guy last week, okay? So we're going to put Taysom Hill up here, right? Now, I like talking about people multiple times, okay? But just in case he's still out there on some of you guys' wire, he plays the New York Jets this week. So he can possibly be a real good play. He runs a lot. I don't think Kamara's going to play. So if he don't play, I don't think Kamara's going to play. If he plays, that helps him. If he doesn't, he should still be safe and get you 20-some fantasy points because he runs so much. You know, granted, they were getting boat race pretty much the last time, and it just was throwing the ball and running the ball going crazy. But he threw those 4 picks. But he's a good play. If you picked him, you know, and you feel frisky, you can pick him, and I don't think he's going to give you a dud because of his legs. All right, number 2. Now I'm going to put this guy, now this guy might be rostered. And I'm only putting him up here because he had a bye week last week, and some people probably dropped him because he had a bad week the week before him when he played Miami, I believe it was. But Cam Newton, okay? Now, you shouldn't have to go get these guys, but if you're feeling frisky, or you can also use this information if you're doing the DraftKings and FanDuel daily stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a good matchup. He's playing against the Falcons. And he's actually at home versus the Falcons. Taysom Hill is at New York Jets. Now, I don't think that they're going to be getting boat raced by the Jets, but New Orleans Saints got such a crappy offense. And then that one receiver, I believe it was Harris or whatever, the young speedster, he got suspended for 3 games for some crap that he did in, a little while back. So that their offense is stagnant. So just keep that in mind. Number 3 is I think it's okay to play this dude now. I've seen him getting benched before. Let's go Russell Wilson. He scored like 23, 24 fantasy points last week, maybe 22 or 23. This week he playing against the Texans. At the Texans. Texans are not going to have any resistance for Seattle. It should be a pretty strong game, as far as your fantasy options and stuff like that. So if you got Russell Wilson, you can play him. Okay? Feel free, especially when Wentz is on bye. Derek, play your boy Russell. Now's the time to play him. I'm sure you're going to play him anyway. Let's move on to running backs. All right, we're back. Here are the running backs. I listed them down, so I'll go across and do the PowerPoints with them. First, let's start off with JaMycal Hasty. You said JaMycal Hasty? Say, yeah, JaMycal Hasty. It's, you can look at him this week. You got Elijah Mitchell. He's in concussion protocol. Jeff Wilson had a flare up in his knee. So he's the only healthy back right now currently. So Elijah Mitchell, he actually, he finished the game, but then he woke up with some symptoms on Monday. So they're running him. So you never know. I wouldn't be afraid of Jeff Wilson because I went to the San Francisco-Jacksonville game. I went there, and I'm a Niner. And Jeff Wilson's slow, washed, not really. He's not special, okay? All right. So, but this young dude is, and we know who's ever the lead back there, they're going to have opportunities. So he might be the main man. But keep check out and make sure Elijah Mitchell, if he passed protocol, don't worry about JaMycal Hasty. But I'm giving you upside plays here. Kenneth Gainwell, now he's on a bye. All right? Now, usually I don't put guys up here that's on a bye. Mind you, Hasty also plays Cincinnati. So, he played against Cincinnati. I don't respect Cincinnati like that. Plus, Burrow's hurt. And old boy with the neck, have a neck issue over there. So, Kenneth Gainwell, he's on a bye. But I'm going to tell you something. When I tell you guys, remember I tell you how you look for ascending players, not descending players, not old washed incumbent players and trying to hold on to the whole year and think they're going to lead you to fantasy glory. Look, Kenneth Gainwell falls in this group of young studs. Every time they try to keep him off the field, he comes back. Last week, what did he have? He had, let's look at it and see what my man had. He had like 16, 17 fantasy points in standard. He had 12 carries for 54 yards. Now, granted, Jordan Howard wasn't playing. Boston Scott didn't play. He had some type of issue going on. So, and old boy got hurt too. the starter there, but he stays hurt, right? Okay, yes, shake your head, yes. So Kenneth Gainwell can actually be somebody that they're incorporating later. Only this issue is when the time they come back, Jordan Howard's going to be there. So, but I truly believe it's going to be either him or Jordan Howard that's going to be the lead back for the end of the season. It could easily be Jordan Howard because he's the bruiser, and that's what that coach has shown that that's what he wanted to do. But Jordan Howard can't catch a freaking cold. But Kenneth Gainwell is a young, explosive youth. So if you got a spot, you can put him on your bench, and you can get him basically for free this week because nobody will get him likely because he's on a bye. You can't just think about for the week. What if you don't need anybody? You know, I got a league, well, 2 leagues where I don't necessarily even need anybody. That don't mean I'm not going to be making upgrades. And I can get guys like that when people are trying to get players for the week. Okay? Next is Sony Michelle. Now, he may or may not be out there because of how he was supposed to, the other dude, Henderson, was supposed to have it played, but he wasn't practicing all week. Sony went out there, had him a great day against Jacksonville. But now he plays against the Cards. And what he had, 24 carries for 121 or something like that in the touch. But he plays against the Cards. The Cards are a tough matchup. And they also play, Sony Michelle and the Rams play Monday night. So you got to remember that. They play Monday night. So if you don't have nothing to pivot away from, you might not want to risk trying to place on it in case Henderson plays and starts. All right? Just to let you know. But let's say if you got a wide receiver or something over there, you put him in your flex. So if he don't start, you can start Jefferson or, heaven forbid, Odell if you're feeling frisky or something. Just to give yourself a backup plan if you want to play with Sony, but Henderson starts. So they play against Arizona Monday night. Samaje Perine. Now, he didn't do nothing. He didn't get no work. And again, they play against the 49ers this week. And Mixon is supposed to play, of course. But be careful. Watch out for Mixon. Mixon has a neck issue. He came back into the game and he finished. But he had a neck issue that and he's questionable currently. Now, of course, he's been on a tear. He's been awesome. Good for him. Good for him and Eckler. Those are the only 2 dudes that in which I wasn't going to touch. Again, because you can't have everybody. And I was perfectly okay not having either one of those dudes. I wasn't going to deal with the nonsense. But I'm glad both of those dudes are really having a good year and staying healthy. But yes, Samaje Perine, if Mixon can't go, he'll be the lead back. So, but anyway, if anybody was smart, the person that has Mixon should be cuffing Perine. But the person that's in first place in my league of record, the Fly Like an Eagle League, he does not have Samaje Perine, and he has Mixon. So I plan on undercutting him for the wheels can fall off and he don't have any running backs. I don't know, but you just gotta, hey man, you gotta play defense. You just can't play offense all the time. So he may or may not play. I mean, he may or may not be the lead back. Other dude may be fine. They may split a little bit of work. Whatever. We'll see what happens. Just he's an option because if anything happens to Mixon in that neck, Samaje Perine, lead back for high impact offensive team. Hey, y'all ever looked at Samaje Perine neck? Like type in like Google Samaje Perine, and like if he's in a uniform, like you see my neck, it look like a neck, very close to the rest of the body. Dude, Samaje Perine neck is like this long, like his neck start like where my chin at right here. That joker chin like right here. That joker got a long neck, like a giraffe neck. So like, it ain't no surprise that this dude neck actually hurt. Surprised it ain't been hurt. Joker got a long neck. I swear the neck like this long, just neck like long as hell. But anyway, I saw that today and I was kind of trying to trip. I said I'm gonna make note of that and say something about it. Samaje Perine, check it out. That don't mean you go pick this dude up, but I'm just saying it's all circumstantial, Tevin Coleman. Now, I wouldn't think, listen, again, if you follow my process, that means you have running backs, you have flexes. It ain't nobody I know need to be picking people off their list. Now, I do like Hasty if old boy out, and I do like Kenneth Gainwell. But Sony don't have long life, but then Henderson kind of glass. But, you know, there's other things that are circumstantial. You should be playing who on your team right now, and you shouldn't be having these issues. But if you do, always hit the comments, and we can go over that. So, those are my running backs for Week 14. Hold tight. Okay, I'm not going to write them down yet. I'm writing them down one by one. With the wide receiver portion, man, I'm excited about this part of the thing because we can find some real nice gems in here. All right, let's go with the obvious one. And we're going to go wide receiver. We're going to go with KJ Osborne, okay? And I'm sure everybody's already heard of him. You know, he was the wide receiver 3. He's the wide receiver 3 for Minnesota. But Thielen laid it down because he's freaking 49 years old. And it finally caught up to him. He got hurt in the first quarter. Osborne still came out, had like 4 catches for 47 in the touch. So he still did good. Put up like 12 and a half, 12 fantasy points, half-point PPR. So good for him. He should be getting more targets. So basically it's just him. It's just Jefferson, him, and the tight end. And Dalvin's out, so they really don't. They throw the ball less to Dalvin nowadays, to the running back nowadays, even though they still throw it, to the other guy that's got back there, Madison. But KJ Osborne, he was balling early. Remember, he caught that touchdown catch. I think it was like week 2, maybe week 3. It was in the first month of the season. I think it was Oakland or something, or whoever it was. Oh, Vegas, I can't say Oakland, was against the Raiders. In overtime, that was pretty cool. But this dude's explosive. He should definitely be the hot commodity going forward. Because Thielen just got to miss several weeks. But this dude right here can really add to your wide receiver core. But that don't mean I go playing Osborne when I'm playing somebody else. When I got somebody else starting that's on my team. But you can also pick him up and keep him away from somebody so you don't have to see him either, If you got somebody on your bench that you don't need, because trust me, I can look at the majority of anybody's team and look and be like, yeah, you need to cut him. You need to waive him and pick up this person, whatever. You always got some crap on your bench, at least even if it's just 1 or 2 players that don't need to be there. But KJ Osborne, he's somebody that anybody watching this need to probably be picking up, rather than having just dead weight on your bench or, a wide receiver or running back that ain't going to do nothing. Number 2, Mr. Jalen Guyton. Now, here's the thing. This dude might only be a 1-week rental. The dude's explosive. He goes downfield. I actually believe that he had the potential to be this year's Justin Jefferson because he was on an ascending talent with a quarterback and wide receivers that are either old or unproven long term. Like Mike Williams, did start doing great, but then he tailed off. And we already know what Keenan Allen is. He's nothing but a PPR machine. But this week, week 14, Keenan Allen, he got the protocol going on, got the SIV 19. All right? So chances are he won't clear. And if he don't clear, Jalen Guyton might be the one with the most targets over there. He went 4 for 90 last week against the Bengals. And this week they play against the Giants. The Giants are soft. Man, the Giants are... I feel sorry for anybody that's Giants fans because not only is Saquon washed and we've seen the best of them, they receivers don't stay healthy. They invested in a quarterback, which I actually like Daniel Jones, but he's just not the answer. And I don't think he's going to be there next year. He didn't put on a uniform for the last time. I don't think he'll play no more this year. So he'll be gone. But Giants going to get worked over by the Chargers this week. They got to throw the ball. They got a young quarterback that like to throw the ball, and it may just run. Hopefully, he don't throw the ball too much, and Giants don't offer no resistance because I played against the quarterback for Chargers this week. But he should get like 2 touchdowns tops because Giants ain't gonna offer no resistance. They should beat the brakes off Giants. But Jalen Guyton, I like his explosiveness. And now he's in the starting role. Josh Palmer is there, but Josh Palmer is deeper on the depth chart. Josh Palmer's more like a possession guy, so he might get some looks, but he don't go downfield as deep. Plus the lone deep throw that he threw, that Herbert threw to him last week, it went off his hands and it got an interception. So, these quarterbacks be remembering that. Jalen Guyton, though. All right, so then we got MVS. Just put MVS here. We always know that it is Valdez Scantling. He cut off the bye from last week, but he also had, the previous week, he's had 10 and 9 targets. So if he's the number 2 over there in Green Bay, and they're really trying to establish that, he can be something. You know? He can be something. But mind you, they still got the other kid, the other dude over there. So he might, you know, you never know, he might revert to being the number 3, but I was thinking it's number 2. But, you know, they're going to throw it deep on him. All depends what the weather look like, too. Sunday night, because that's playing against Chicago, it might be bad weather. And we know how that roll because we just watched the bad weather game. But MVS has plenty of upside. And if you pick him and you put him in there, he can hit for you. Number 4. Man. Listen, I think I put him on here last week. But let's put Russell Gage up here. But I'm going to just explain something to you real quick. The dude, he played against the Steelers this week. I wouldn't play Russell Gage because I think the Steelers going to just eat up on them. And he may get you 8, 9, 10 catches, but it ain't gonna be for much. Okay, and I doubt that he scores. But he be hit or miss sometime, and he'll goose you. So I wouldn't trust him. But I'm putting him up here in case one of y'all gotta take a little liking to Russell Gage, and you're that desperate, but you shouldn't be. All right, now here's my last one. I'm gonna go 6 deep. I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown, St. Brizzle. All right, again, young ascending talent. He's the rookie over there. The only issue is he had like 12 targets or something like that this past week. They played against Minnesota. Minnesota secondary is trash. So there's no surprise, you know what I'm saying, that he had double-digit targets and he did well. The thing is, they got the other guy over there that played with Goff and the Rams, and they got the other cat over there. It's just, I forget old boy's name, but they kind of play roulette and they just take turns and stuff, you know. So I believe that was just a 1 week thing. I wouldn't trust them to be having 12 targets and all that type of stuff, especially playing against Denver this week because Denver be dropping their hammer. Denver's the same team that held KC in check because Tyreek Hill didn't even get off. So I would not play no freaking doggone wide receiver for Detroit if Tyreek Hill couldn't get off and Kelsey, right? Shake your head like that. Right, okay. Number 6. This is my little sweet nugget right here. I almost didn't want to put him on the video. Almost didn't. Kind of want to be saying nothing. But this dude here I want to put on here. Rondell Moore. Rondell Moore, he hasn't done jack. Rondell Moore. I know, right? But let me tell you something about Rondell. They came off the bye last week, right? They played this past week. He didn't shake much. He didn't shake much this past week. But Kyle only threw the ball 15 times. So don't hate on Rondell. Look who all there over there. You got AJ Green, trash. You think they're going to spend the rest of the games down here really making sure he legit? No. We already know who Christian Kirk is. He ain't do jack. Hopkins, yeah, he scored, but he ain't 100%. Okay? So, Monday night, I could see them when they played. It's supposed to be a high-scoring game with the Rams against Cardinals. This dude right here, Rondell Moore, is the future of this team at number 2 with Hopkins. He had 11 targets the week before the bye last week. Didn't do much with him. He had 11 targets. He had 11 catches. He only had like 60 yards or something like that. You know, they didn't do nothing with him. The offense was stagnant, you know, and Murray wasn't there and stuff. But when somebody has freaking 11 targets, that's saying, hey, we want to see what you got. If you can, come on. When you get somebody 11 targets and Kirk's on the freaking field, AJ Green's on the field, that lets you know who's really next up. Again, if you guys want to freaking wait until Rondell Moore pops off and goes for like 90 in a touch, and then you can't gotta fight and pull teeth to get him on the waiver wire, go ahead and do that. But if you got a spot, ascending talents, Rondell Moore. You saw Amon St. Brown, he had a good game. Guy's a second-year player. You know, Elijah Moore. Ascending players. Not descending. Not old school, incumbent, slow, methodical, lazy freaking players. Hold tight. All right, now on the tight ends. Let me say, if you first time watching this video, or if you haven't clicked like yet, go ahead and click the like button. Stop playing. Stop tripping now, all right? Your boy ain't right here dropping this knowledge for no reason, you know? Trying to make things happen for you. Go ahead and put your work in and hit the like button. Bam, dude. You know, let's get it. 3 tight ends up here. Let me explain. Tyler Conklin. He is the number 1 I would actually put up here for this week. He may or may not be rostered, but he should be rostered, especially with Thielen going down. This dude had 7 catches for 56 on 9 targets this past weekend. Tyler Conklin's a safe play and has touchdown upside, especially when the touchdown guy, which is Thielen, when they get close down there, because y'all know they don't throw it. Cousins don't throw it in the goal line. He don't throw it to old boy Jefferson. He don't do that. They ain't got the report like that. They was throwing to Thielen. So who you think they're gonna do when they get close? They're gonna throw it to him majority of the time. To Conklin. I'm so mad about that fantasy footballers freaking league, man. Because I got him as my tight end, but I didn't know the playoffs started on week 12. And I didn't maximize my lineup, although I won. That's gonna bother me, man. Ain't okay enough about me. Ricky Seals-Jones. His arrow's going up as well because, unfortunately, we had an injury to the starter, Logan Thomas. He may not be done for the year, but he's done for at least a couple weeks or so. He probably might not come back the rest of this year. But the tight end is always worthwhile in Washington. Granted, Washington does play Dallas this week, but the safe volume for Ricky Seals could be a good play if you need a tight end this week. Number 3 is Gerald Everett. Yes, he had a terrible week. That dude had minimal yards, singular yards, drops, and fumbled twice. You know, I'm going to tell you who I blame. I blame Rush, because Rush was all on his job. Been feeding him and peppering him, not throwing it to DK and stuff like he's supposed to. And before the end of the last game, he was like, oh, this guy catches everything. He catches everything. Oh, it's not. And then he came out and gave a crapper. But guess what? The dude still get volume. And volume's king in fantasy. You want you guys getting peppered. Hey, it's only 3 guys get the ball around there and over there. And who they play this week? I'm going to still put them up there because they play the Texans. Gerald Everett and them play the Texans. So the Texans, guess what? They don't offer no resistance. He can have a nice balanced bad game. So again, if you need to Tyler Conklin and Gerald Everett are good plays, especially for this week if you don't have a tight end, or if you're playing any kind of daily leagues, FanTrax or FanDuel, not FanTrax, DraftKings or FanDuel. Those are great picks because he's gonna get targets no matter what. Russ gonna make sure he back up for some reason. I don't know why, but he is. All right, so those are my tight ends. Learn about it. Let's slide to the defenses real quick. All right, here go the defense. I'm going to tell you right now, man, the defenses are lit. I'm going to tell you right now, y'all better not have no crummy, trashy behind defense in your freaking week 14 starting lineups. Bet not. Bet not. Look at all these defenses. I'm certain at least 2 or 3 of them are free agents on your waiver wire. You have Denver at home against Detroit. I actually picked Denver up this week to play them against Detroit. I picked them up last week on Wednesday to play them this week. Because I have, in my legal record, I have Tampa as my defense, and I'm not playing Tampa against Buffalo. Why? That's stupid, you know? So, I picked up Denver, playing them against Detroit. Chargers at home against the Giants. I need Chargers to snap because the person that's playing the number 1 team in my legal record team, that skipped by the skin of his freaking teeth and won by 4 points because Josh Allen didn't throw the second touchdown pass. Anyway, he has one of the dudes that's playing spoiler playing the number 1 dude next week, and he had Chargers defense against the Giants. That sounds like 20 points to me. I'll be rooting for it. Now, and the Packers against the Bears. Although I have Booney in the league and Montgomery's Montgomery, playing at home against the Packers, Bears should do okay. And I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but it's hard to play at the Packers. And if it's Dalton throwing picks again, or if it's, you know what I'm saying, the rookie back there, should still be tough sleds, and Packers is a good play. Titans at home against the Jags. Y'all see how Titans just happen to keep winning and everything? It almost feels like it's in a reward for saying that Henry got to lay down, yada, yada. You know, just like, come on, how they going to keep winning and still be in freaking first place and stuff like that? And be, you know, whatever. The team ain't that good like that. It's basically, Henry didn't mean nothing, that's what you're saying? Okay, all right, good. But anyway, Titans at home against the Jags. Jags are the Jags. You know, James Robinson, he's hurting. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Jags are stagnant. Everybody was all up on that freaking rookie quarterback's freaking nuts on Jacksonville. He's trash, you know. So, Seahawks at Texans. That's a good play. Seahawks defense isn't that good. The safety actually got hurt. Seahawks safety got hurt. He may miss the game. Texans are irrelevant. Seahawks still a good play, even playing at Texans. And Panthers at home against the Falcons. Falcons might be able to score a little something. Got Cordell Patterson and stuff like that, but Panthers after find that one coach or either offensive coordinator, they fired somebody. And going against the Falcons, it should be a nice day for the Panthers. And the Panthers actually have a good defense. So there's your defenses for Week 14. Listen, that's it. That's the waiver show for Week 14. Hope you guys smash. Continue to freaking get W's. Let's make it to the playoffs and cause some noise. Again, hit the comments. You have any questions? Let me know. I'll get back to you. That's the beauty about not having so many subscribers. I'm going to just jump in the comments and answer y'all questions. Ask somebody. Kano Bill, guess what? He be jumping in the comments the most. And I answer him. And be giving him that good game. People that waited on Javonte got that good juice. Now they got a bull at they flex. Come on, man. Come on. It's a team I coach. That's locally. Got Chubb, Gibson at the 2 RBs, and got Dylan, and got Javonte. Come on, man. We're having Josh Allen at the helm in 12-man league. You got bulls like that, man. It's going to be trouble in Denver. Denver play against Detroit this week. Congratulations.